So you found yourself in detention. As you should know, the criteria for admittance to juvenile detention is a charge of either 3 misdemeanors or 1 felony in an episode. One of the next places you'll find yourself is in a detention hearing. Today, we will talk about what a detention hearing is, the purpose of a detention hearing, and how you can best prepare for your detention hearing. Even if this is not your first hearing, this video is beneficial to you because it gives you a chance to practice standing up for yourself in front of a judge, which can help you in future court proceedings. First, what is a detention hearing? A detention hearing is not meant to determine your guilt or innocence, or to address the facts of your charges. A detention hearing is where the judge decides whether you stay in detention while awaiting your court date or go somewhere else for that time. The judge will make his or her decision based on 3 risk factors: risk to self, risk to others, or risk of flight. But the judge will also look at protective factors. These are the good things going on in your life that show the judge that you are ready to be released, such as a safety plan, skills, strengths, resources, supports, or coping strategies. For example, a judge could look at a resident and see that he has a risk of flight because he ran away from his proctor home and previous placements. But the judge would also look at the resident's protective factors, such as his safety plan that he made with his resident advocate, being a peer leader, showing responsibility by being on task in detention, a strong interest in science at school, a desire to attend mediation and therapy, a trusting relationship with a counselor, support from resident advocates who can vouch for him and say that he's earned enough points to be a peer leader, a hobby of journaling, the use of meditation in stressful situations, and behavioral therapy exercises. Okay, now we're going to take you into your detention hearing. A Slate Canyon staff member will open the door for you to enter the detention hearing room, where you will see a lot of adults. So, who are they? This is another Slate Canyon staff member. A parent or parents might sit here. This is a probation officer. This is an intake staff member. This is a bailiff. This is the judge, who might not be present but may be phoning in, or sometimes you'll see the judge on a video screen. This is a court recorder. This is a Slate Canyon secretary. This is a juvenile court supervisor, and this is a detention supervisor. Sometimes other observers will be present, such as a detention center director, a DCFS supervisor, an attorney, or college students. All right, now that you know who will be there, let's start your hearing. First, the probation officer will address the judge with the allegations of your case, risk factors, and will make a recommendation.
Your Honor, Jessica has been on probation since June. On October 20th, she failed to check in with her probation officer, and she has not had any contact with probation since then. Based on this reason, a warrant was issued, and she has been on the run ever since. It is a recommendation of probation that she be maintained in detention until her court date because she is a flight risk.
The judge will ask if you understand or if you have any questions. This is the time for you to ask for permission to speak.
Jessica, do you have any questions?
Let's throw out a couple of examples of how you could respond to this question.
No.
Okay, so ruled. Jessica, you will be staying in detention pending your court date.
This is your hearing. Remember how we introduced everyone that was in the courtroom? They're all here for your hearing. You have a right to be heard. You might be nervous to talk in front of people, but they're all here for you. If you don't say anything, the judge will not know about your protective factors. That being said, you might be concerned that you'll say something wrong. That's why we're here to help you. It's true. There are some things you do not want to say or do at your detention hearing. They include talking about the facts of your charges or your innocence or guilt, speaking disrespectfully, and slouching. Let's show you an example of what you do not want to do at your detention hearing.
Jessica, do you have any questions?
I don't even know why I'm here. I didn't check in with my probation officer because I was clean. And just because I didn't check in, it doesn't mean I was on the run. I'm tired of following all these rules when I'm not doing anything wrong.
We're not here today to talk about whether you are guilty or innocent, whether you're clean or not, whether you are on the run. Furthermore, you are being very disrespectful. If you think that's going to show me that you're ready to get out of here, you need to do some serious rethinking. Because you're at flight risk, I'm going to order you to stay in detention pending your court date.
As you can see, inappropriate behavior will influence the judge's decision. Now let's look at an example where the resident is respectful towards the judge and makes sure to present her protective factors.
Jessica, do you have any questions?
Your Honor, may I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
Your Honor, I feel like I'm ready to be released from detention because since I've arrived here, I've learned to be accountable for my actions. Using the point system has helped me to set goals with my resident advocate. For example, I've earned the role of peer leader by following directions and being respectful to peers and staff. I'm eager to continue my education and I really like science. I want to become an engineer someday. I will attend all my classes and complete all my assignments. I've been learning skills with my resident advocates and I'm excited to use those outside of detention.
Be prepared for follow-up questions the judge might ask, such as, how do I know you're going to attend your classes? Sometimes the judge will grant your request to be released. Sometimes he won't. Either way, you will have more confidence in standing up for yourself, and you will have left a good impression on all the adults in the room. Those adults will remember the way you acted and the things you said when they see you at your next court appearance. To prepare for your hearing, we suggest the following. Meet with your resident advocates and make a safety plan. Write down your protective factors. You can even write a letter to the judge. Practice speaking at your hearing by doing a role-play exercise with your resident advocate. Ask your resident advocate how you can use your point sheet in your detention hearing.
Some of the benefits to standing up for themselves. I actually seen one youth make a case for themselves about why they should go home. The judge actually sided with the kid and actually let the kid go home that day. I've also not seen kids go home, but I've also seen the judges talk to the kids afterwards, or the workers talk to the kids afterwards, and basically tell them how much respect that they gained for them because they stood up and they had a plan in place.
So I've seen very good outcomes when they've had a plan in place. They still have come back to the unit feeling like their voice was heard. One piece of advice I would give a youth getting ready for a detention hearing is, number one, to really focus on what they've done to get into detention, and then number two, to be really honest with themselves about what they need to do to change in order to not have to stay in detention.
I'd probably recommend to the residents to actually make a case for themselves. So when they get the opportunity to stand up in front of the judge, to take advantage of that opportunity. I don't know how many times I've seen kids say they don't have anything to say. That's not making their case known. The judge isn't going to know what the kid's thinking, what the kid's feeling, and what kind of plan that the kid might have in place.
Make the resident advocate responsible and accountable as well. We have the 6 core values here that we talk about and demonstrate for these kids. But it really is our responsibility to make sure that we're touching base with their parents. Have we been able to get a hold of their probation officer? Do we know things? And if not, hey, can you call?
The resident advocate is always calling in and updating parents and updating families so they know what's going on with their youth while they're in detention. That just makes more of a united front when we come together and we work with the kid.
I don't ever want to see that kid in detention again. And so for me, it's really important that these kids know that there are people that aren't labeling them with the charges that they have pending and aren't seeing them through that lens, but just seeing them as someone that's maybe gotten off track and that they need some help getting back on track.
It's really easy for youth to come forward and say, hey, I need to prepare something for when I go up to the judge. And we can always sit down with them, we can always work with them on preparing safety plans and finding out risk factors and what their risk factors are or are not and how they can better take those risk factors away. As long as the youth is willing to come to us to do that, we're always willing, we're always open to do so.
Your resident advocate is there to help you. You can start preparing now. Remember, it is your hearing.